What made Melissa Gilbert finally break her silence about Patty Duke after all these years? How did this Hollywood legend's struggles mirror her own battles with fame? And what devastating truth did she discover that changed everything she thought she knew about child stardom? These are questions that have haunted fans for decades, and at 61 years old, the beloved Little House on the Prairie star is finally ready to reveal the whole story. Melissa Gilbert was born on May 8, 1964 in Los Angeles, California, adopted as an infant by actor and comedian Paul Gilbert and his wife Barbara Crane. From the very beginning, she was immersed in the glittering yet demanding world of entertainment. At just 9 years old, she landed the role that would define her career, Laura Ingalls Wilder, on the iconic television series Little House on the Prairie, which ran from 1974 to 1983. Week after week, millions of viewers watched as she brought warmth, innocence, and strength to the character lovingly nicknamed Half Pint by Michael Landon's Charles Ingalls. But behind the scenes of America's favorite pioneer family, young Melissa was learning harsh lessons about the price of fame. According to the source material, she was surrounded by other child stars, some thriving, others struggling silently with pressures that no child should bear. And one name stood out among them all, Patty Duke. Here's something most people don't know. Melissa Gilbert actually worked alongside Patty Duke in the 1979 production of The Miracle Worker, where Gilbert portrayed Helen Keller opposite Duke's Anne Sullivan. This experience gave her a front-row seat to witness Duke's extraordinary talent, but it also exposed her to something darker that she wouldn't fully understand until years later. After Little House on the Prairie ended in 1983, Gilbert continued building an impressive career. She starred in emotionally powerful made-for-TV movies, including Choices of the Heart in 1983, where she played missionary Jean Donovan. She later appeared in series such as Stand By Your Man and Sweet Justice, proving her staying power in a notoriously fickle industry. From 2001 to 2005, she even served as president of the Screen Actors Guild, advocating tirelessly for fair contracts and healthcare benefits for performers. Between 2008 and 2010, she toured nationally in the musical adaptation of Little House on the Prairie, this time playing Caroline Ma in a production directed by Francesca Zambello. But success came with a price. Gilbert's personal life was marked by turbulence that echoed the struggles of the woman she'd admired from afar. In 1988, she married actor Bo Brinkman, and they welcomed a son, Dakota Paul Brinkman, in 1989. The marriage lasted 6 years before ending in divorce in 1994. Just a year later, she married actor Bruce Boxleitner, best known for his roles in Scarecrow and Mrs. King and the Tron films. Together they had a son, Michael Garrett Boxleitner, named in honor of her late mentor, Michael Landon. That marriage lasted 16 years before ending in 2011. And here's where things get really interesting. During these tumultuous years, Gilbert found herself grappling with addiction and health challenges, walking what she later described as the same dangerous edge that Patty Duke had lived on for years. According to the source, she candidly detailed these struggles in her 2009 memoir, Prairie Tale, discussing the pressures of child stardom and her ultimate path toward recovery and healing. In 2013, Gilbert married actor and director Timothy Busfield, known for his roles in 30-something, The West Wing, and Field of Dreams. This relationship represented a turning point. The couple stepped away from Hollywood, settling in the small town of Howell, Michigan, from 2013 to 2018, before relocating to New York City in late 2018. It was during this period of reflection and renewal that Gilbert began to truly process her complicated feelings about Patty Duke. So what finally made Melissa Gilbert speak out? At 61 years old, with age and wisdom on her side, she decided it was time to share her truth honestly and without restraint. According to the source material, her words carried not only admiration for Duke's extraordinary talent, but also reflections on the darker realities of show business. Patty Duke was one of the most fearless actresses I've ever seen, Gilbert admitted, as quoted in the source. She had this uncanny ability to bring a character to life in a way that made you feel like you weren't watching a performance. You were watching someone's soul being exposed right in front of you. But Gilbert didn't shy away from addressing the hardships that Duke endured, her battles with mental illness, the pressures of being thrust into fame as a young girl, and often destructive personal relationships. As Gilbert confessed in the source material, "When I was younger, I didn't fully understand what Patty was going through. I don't think any of us kids in the industry really did. We just thought she was moody or intense. But as I got older and I lived my own ups and downs, I realized that what she endured was nothing short of harrowing." The revelation that changed everything came when Gilbert realized that Duke's openness about her struggles with bipolar disorder gave countless people, herself included, the courage to speak about their own vulnerabilities without shame. According to the source, Gilbert explained that Duke became, in many ways, a cautionary tale for young actors like herself. "I looked at Patty's life and thought, if she can survive everything she's been through and still have the strength to stand up and speak out, then there's hope for all of us," Gilbert stated. The source reveals that she acknowledged her own path, marked by public relationships, divorces, health challenges, and struggles with addiction, had mirrored some of Duke's hardships. "There were times when I felt like I was teetering on the same edge that Patty had lived on for years," Gilbert said. "But watching how she eventually took control of her narrative, gave me the courage to try and do the same for myself." What stands out most in Gilbert's recollections, according to the source material, was not just her admiration for Duke's professional talent, but her empathy for Duke's personal battles. She was human, Gilbert emphasized. That's something people forget when they look at stars. Patty wasn't just an actress or an icon or a tragic figure. She was a human being who wanted love, stability, and peace, just like the rest of us, and she spent much of her life trying to find that. Gilbert's words, as documented in the source, resonated with a sense of kinship, as though she were speaking not only as a fellow actress, but as a woman who intimately understood what it meant to navigate the difficult balance between public adoration and private pain. At an age when many choose silence, Melissa Gilbert chose to speak. Through her candid revelations, she not only paid tribute to Patty Duke, but also reaffirmed her own journey of honesty, resilience, and growth, reminding the world of the power that comes from telling the truth, even when it's difficult, even when it's long overdue. Her courage in sharing these intimate reflections serves as an inspiration to anyone who has ever felt alone in their struggles.